ballparks and how we are gonna develop that area as an active passive use. So that's not in the, it's not in the plan to have remote controlled aircraft there. And laws are generally designed not for the majority, but for the few. And I think you all understand that. We cannot patrol that park from dawn to dusk and patrol people that have remote operated aircraft in that park. We don't have the staff to do that, we don't have the finances, we don't have the tax dollars to do that. So in absence of that, with nothing in our comprehensive plan, with nothing in our parks master plan, and with a facility in Dakota County, and another facility in Washington County, both within driving distance, and with multiple private airplane clubs that you have access to, I don't feel it's an obligation on our part to offer this. We also don't have a golf driving range in town. We don't have a golf course in town. People drive to those other things. Each small city cannot offer every recreational opportunity. We just don't have the resources, and that's what the voters tell us.
I'm not asking you to give us special circumstance. I'm asking you to allow us to use the park equally with everybody else. So you don't have to designate it as a flying park. You don't have to designate it as a kite flying park, right? You're trying to just outlaw flying these airplanes.
Or city property.
There was not already a provision that said we couldn't do it, and we're here trying to get it passed, right? So if that's what we're talking about, we just want equal use of the park. We want, if you're allowed to fly a kite out there, why aren't we allowed to fly an airplane until development stops us from doing that?
The development is gonna stop you from doing that. It's coming in May, okay? We're gonna have to make a tougher decision with the dog park and how we continue to offer access to that facility as we provide a safe construction zone for workers to work in. That's our number one concern. We need to get this project done, but it's gotta be safe for everybody too. There is just, we can't be everything to everybody.
So, I mean, all the wording in the ordinance here is really completely irrelevant to what we're passing, because none of this is, our conversation right now is not in here. None of that is in here. It's about hazards and safeties and, the place being used for other activities. And now we're talking about construction.
As you cut down on the amount of land you have, would you not agree that that limits your opportunities to bail?
I completely agree, but I can tell you that we've all followed the development of the park process here. I'm a resident, so I've been keeping everybody up to speed on what we're passing, where the money's going, when we're shutting down this park and moving fields here, and where the development's happening, and we know our time's limited. We know that. But we're wondering why we're getting kicked out now when we know we have time. I know we're not developing the area where we fly. They've already been driving trucks through there, we know that, right? So if the dog park can stay open, why can't our area stay open to fly airplanes? If it's not about this, if it's not about hazards and safeties, if it's truly about development.
But that all goes hand in hand. Hazards and safety and the wording of the ordinance goes hand in hand with the development.
That's not what this says. This is the hazards and safety for the other people in the park, right? Not mine, we're not talking about my safety, right?
We're talking about everybody's safety because we're concerned constantly with our liability and exposure and safety, and we can't provide every recreational opportunity that people want. People want to snowboard down the hill across the street from St. Augustine's. That's public property. We can't let them do that either. It's just,
do we have an ordinance for that, or do we just say?
Yes, we do.
But is it public knowledge? I don't think it is. I think we're knee-jerk reaction here. Somebody had a bad episode down there. Someone's airplane got out of control or something happened, and we had some complaints. But if you look at how many people participate down there, the number of people that come to our town to do this right now, I think you'd find that a very, very, very tiny percentage that have caused any kind of issues.
But they have.
Actually, Chris had said that there were no incidences of any accidents with people or vehicles.
But we had complaints.
They complain about the noise.
There's
And
dogs,
guys,
there's
you
bikes.
operated as an interim use of that area until we
Yeah,
were
the
gonna
one
develop it,
rushing.
and now we're ready to develop
That's
it.
right.
I mean, we really did
So do we have to
allow it
pass an
as-
ordinance then? Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Cause you're gonna develop means I can't use it once you develop it, cause you're gonna have trees and bands, shells and shelters and, horseshoe pits, and sure, I'm out of space to fly then. So is it really necessary to pass an ordinance to stop us from going there? Cause you're gonna develop it anyway, so I'm gonna have to go. I get it, no, I get it, we know that the time's limited, we know we're gonna have to go as soon as you develop it, but is it necessary to spend time passing an ordinance for that?
To enforce it, yes.
Enforce what?
To enforce nobody flying down there, yes. That's the way government works in the state of Minnesota. You have to pass an ordinance in order to truly affect the change.
But to
that
serve
you-
what purpose?
That nobody flies down there, period.
No, that's the outcome, to serve what purpose?
To protect the public in their best interest.
May I ask then, why don't we ban alcoholic beverages in the state of Minnesota when there are so many people on the highways getting killed with drunk drivers? Or why do we allow to continue to sell the 6-pack of soda pops with the little plastic things on that you find all over floating in the lakes and stuff that are killing birds?
I think we've kind of lost track of what the actual discussion is, in a sense that, the ordinance is written for the safety of the general public, correct? And the wildlife and whatnot, right? But we got off on the subject of developing the park, and Chris is talking about that, right? Phase 1, phase 2 is probably gonna be putting all of this stuff in the middle of the park there for everybody. I honestly, I really don't think it's about this. I think we had a few complaints, right? I think there's plenty of room there for everybody to use the park, right? It's self-policed, it's been doing that for a number of years now very well. And when there's no more room, when things are built, that's when we move on. If the dog park's allowed to be open, for say, it's during construction time, we should still be allowed to be down there. I really don't think this holds any water at all, as far as the wording within this.
Councilmember Hanson.
I think there's more than, initially said, it wasn't because of complaints, and no, that isn't the full reason, that there's more than just that. However, I'm interested in your point about perhaps giving you more time. Now, my question to council or my co-council members is, once construction starts down there, I don't want that down there at all. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a good mix. However, if construction isn't going to start till May 15th or till June 1st, perhaps, and I don't know, Chris doesn't probably have an answer to that, but if we allowed it up until the point that construction starts and then the ordinance would go into effect, maybe that would be a fair compromise. So it would give you a little bit longer to find a new home for where you need to be. At least maybe we can give you another 30 days. Would that be acceptable and based on when construction is going to start?
Thank you.
Yes, that
Thank
would be
you.
acceptable, because then we can explore the other
Other
options.
goals.
Yeah, because none of us knew about the Dakota County thing.
I guess I would concur with Councilmember Hanson in that, if it is possible, it sounds like you're gonna have a meeting, Chris, this week yet, because I do believe that saying that this doesn't hold water, well, it does hold water once construction starts down there.
I agree.
It's going to hold water, and it's gonna need, you're not gonna be allowed to be down there. Construction companies aren't gonna want you down there, you're gonna be in the way.
But we're gonna shut down the whole park, right? Like the dog park shut down, the trails around it have to be shut down, I would assume, right? Because we're not safe for anybody.
But
We got to the
That's it.
15th.
Yeah.
Be
How is
quiet.
that possible then?
We're working with our Parks Commission,
Okay.
with our liability insurance company, with the construction company. There's a little difference between walking a dog and flying an aircraft. Would you not at least give me that point?
I would say you have more incidences of unleashed dogs.
We're not debating whether we're gonna have a dog park or not. We have a dog park. I see a difference between walking dogs and an